Hi, this is a quick video on instructions on how to take the Star360 assessment from Inside School of Washington. To take the STAR test, we have to look at three simple steps. First, we need to verify our computer is ready to go using the link provided in the email instructions. Once you've verified that, you're going to actually click on the URL provided in the email instructions to start the test. You're going to log into this test site. Your username is your K-12 student ID number, which should be included in the email you received from us. And your password has a couple of fun rules. Number one, it's all lowercase. Number two, it's your first name followed by the last three numbers of your student ID. Let's look at a couple of examples. So let's say, for example, my first name is Tommy, and my ID number is 1234567. My password to be Tommy with a lowercase t. Notice that the capital T is now converted to lowercase, 567, grabbing the last three characters for my student ID. You may run into a couple of common issues with your password based upon the way your name is presented in our system. For example, let's say you have the name Amos, where you have an accented O in your name. When this is converted to a password by our systems, that O is going to be replaced with a question mark. So your password is going to be lowercase a, m, question mark, s, 567. Again, we would grab the last three numbers from your student ID number and then your first name. If you have spaces in your name as listed in our system, you want to make sure that you maintain that space in your password. So for example, if your name was Johann Sebastian with the ID number 1234567, your password would be lowercase j, O-H-A-N-N, space, lowercase S-E-B-A-S-T-I-A-N, 567. Let's say you have an apostrophe in your name, which is very common in a lot of names. So let's say your name is DeAndre. In this particular example, the name is DeAndre with an apostrophe, and we have ID number 1234567. If this was your situation, you would do lowercase d, apostrophe, lowercase a, and DREA 567. And finally, let's say your first name has a hyphen in it. If that is the case, you would just keep the hyphen as you type in the password. So let's say your name was Sally-Lou, so Sally Lou, and your ID number is 1234567. Your password would be Sally, lowercase S-A-L-L-Y, hyphen, lowercase L-O-U, 567. So those are the most common issues that can occur in your password. Now that we've got those kind of addressed, let's look at the system. So we're going to start by looking at that very first link, which is the system requirements page. This is where you want to kind of go through and make sure that you're using a web browser that's being supported by the system, making sure your screen resolution is correct, making sure you have an appropriate internet connection. If you're using a mobile device or Chromebooks, you can read through this information here. And then some additional things you may need to take care of if you're having any issues with your system. So just kind of if you're having any issues or challenges, this is a great website to check. Once you've completed that, you're going to click on the other link to actually get to our actual login page. This login page is unique to our school, so be sure you follow the login link provided in the email. Once you're here, you're going to click the I am a student button, where you're going to select, we're going to put our username. My username would be the student ID number. So I'm going to log in using my student ID number. And then I'm going to log in using my password. Again, my first name, all lowercase, and my last three numbers for my student ID. In my example, it's 632. And I'm going to hit login. Once you get to this page, you're going to start your assessment. So we're going to start by doing star reading. So I'm going to click on the star reading tile. We're going to choose start. And it's going to tell us we're going to start our practice test. The practice test is important you actually read and follow the directions. If you try to click through it, what it's going to do is it's actually going to prevent you from taking the test. So I'm going to read through my question. Once I go through the practice test, it's going to say it's time to go ahead and do the test. So now I'm ready to start my assessment. So at this point, I'm going to go through and read through the question. There are 35 questions for the reading assessment. Once you reach the end of the assessment, and we ask the last question, so I can see up here in the top left-hand corner, I'm in question 35 of 35. It's going to give me a congratulations, I have finished the assessment. At which point it's going to log me out of the system, and I will have completed that first assessment. Now I need to log back in and take the math assessment. So I'm going to log in using the exact same information I had before. And this time I'm going to choose Star Math. The Star Math assessment is located on the second row in the middle. It's the red cornered tile. Again, if it asks you to select a class, pick any class from the list and choose Start. Now we're going to go through the practice test. Again, you want to read the questions and attempt the practice, otherwise it will not allow you to test. Now that we've completed the practice, it's going to allow me to start my assessment. Again, the math test has 34 questions, and so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to read through the questions and then answer the questions as I go along. Now that I'm to the very last question, I'm going to the very last question, I'm going to do my last response and hit next, and it's going to tell me I have finished my assessment. And then it will log me back out and return me back to my login page. Once you've completed the math test and the reading test, you'll be done. When you log back in, it will not indicate that you finished the test. It simply records the score for the teacher to view. If you have any questions on whether you finished your test, contact your teacher.